The movie opens with a montage of scenes showing the inside workings of a secret institution known simply as the Organization. The institution trains boys from a very young age to be assassins. There is no place for stylish hairstyles here, as everyone has a clean, shaved head, and students are identified through barcodes tattooed on the back of their heads. From a very young age, the boys are trained in hand-to-hand combat, arms and ammunition, and a grueling form of self-discipline. Trying to run away from the Organization is punishable by death. The scene then cuts to a rainy night in London, where Interpol agent Mike Whittier returns home from work. Everything looks normal, but he soon realizes that something is off as the lights in the living room don't turn on. However, before he can grab a gun, he's greeted by Agent 47, the deadliest assassin in the world. Mike has been chasing after Agent 47 for the past 3 years without any success. The mysterious assassin has his gun pointed at Mike and threatens him to sit down. He reassures the Interpol agent that he will not harm anyone in the house as he simply wants to talk. As the two men have a conversation, the scene drifts to the war-torn nation of Niger, 3 months prior to the present day. 47 mercilessly shoves down a remote-controlled bomb into the throat of a soldier who had earlier deserted the warlord's camp. 47 then hands him back, and the deserter is taken to his base for punishment. Before the warlord can connect the dots about what's happening, 47 flicks the switch and blows everyone to smithereens. Following this, Interpol Inspector Mike arrives in Niger following the trail of Agent 47. Yet again, he's too late, as there's no trace of the suspect. Mike tells the general of Niger's army that this incident was simply one of hundreds of similar assassinations all around the globe that Agent 47 has been a part of. Meanwhile, Agent 47 is already in Russia, preparing for his next job. He heads to his hotel room, where he lays traps and checks his escape rope on the balcony, ensuring it's secured. He then logs into his employer's server, where a robotic female voice congratulates him on his latest job in Africa. However, his next hit on the incumbent Russian president, Mikhail Belikov, has been moved up by a few days at the client's request, who also wants the assassination to be public. 47 is reluctant as the sudden changes go against his protocol, but he goes against his gut feeling and accepts. A file containing the information on Mikhail Belikov and his drug lord brother, Udry Belikov, is then sent to his computer. A few days later, Mikhail arrives at a massive rally, and the press immediately surrounds him. 47 takes aim and blows his head clean off before quickly escaping the scene. After the job is done, he quickly packs his bags and arrives at the St. Petersburg train station to head out of Russia. Suddenly, he receives an urgent message from his employer. Thus, he logs back into the server and is informed that there was a witness to his assassination. As a true professional, he accepts the task of eliminating the target, a young woman named Nika Boronina. The next day, Nika is awaiting a car at the city's main square when 47 spots her. He's about to shoot when she turns and looks at him. 47 hesitates momentarily as he notices a dragon tattooed under her left eye. Suddenly, another assassin from the organization begins shooting at 47, but our hero manages to escape the scene. Elsewhere, Inspector Mike arrives in Russia with his right-hand man, Jenkins. Through a phone call, Mike is informed that Mikhail survived the assassination attempt as the bullet narrowly missed its target. This news bothers the inspector as he's sure that the man he's chasing, Agent 47, never misses his target. Furthermore, it's also revealed that a concierge at the Grand Hotel in Petersburg has identified Agent 47 through a photo that the local police managed to click. Although Mike is suspicious as to how the deadliest assassin in the world could let himself be photographed, he immediately rushes towards the Grand Hotel. In the meantime, in his hotel room, 47 informs his employer that the girl Nika was not a witness. To his utter surprise, he learns that Mikhail survived the hit despite having watched the bullet go through his head. He is shocked to see a live news feed of Mikhail accusing the West of trying to take him out. 47 immediately understands that all of this is a setup and he's being framed in an elaborate web of deceit. He demands to know who the client is, but gets no response from his employer. Enraged, he threatens that if they set him up, he will burn them to the ground. Mike and Jenkins arrive on the scene, where they meet with a police captain who's preparing his men to storm the hotel. Mike protests, but just then, Yuri, an officer of the Russian secret police, FSB, interrupts. He tells Mike that he's in charge of the operation and is capable enough to handle the situation. After a back and forth between Yuri and Mike, the police captain is compelled to listen to Yuri's orders to storm the hotel and shoot the suspect on sight. A team of heavily armed special forces then move up the stairs. At that moment, 47 gets a call from Diana, the voice behind his employer's server. She tells him that the client is Mikhail himself and that his location has been compromised. Outside, the armed men approach 47's room and step on the triggers that he's placed near the doormat. As a result, the bomb trap on the door that he's placed earlier set off, and the countdown to explosion begins. 47 takes off running just as the men batter the door with a ram, causing a massive explosion. 47 escapes the room using his escape rope and bursts into another room where 2 kids are playing a video game. He then retrieves 2 guns from an ice dispenser in the lobby and swiftly begins to escape. After shooting and killing 2 guards, he breaks into the elevator shaft. Mike and Jenkins, who had rushed inside after the explosion, see the elevators moving. Mike runs off via the stairs to intercept him, while Jenkins stays behind to report the floor it stops at. In the meantime, 47 lands on top of the elevator where 6 armed cops are traveling. He brutally shoots them all dead before sending the elevator to the ground floor. Jenkins sees the elevator approaching and pulls his gun, but is greeted by dead bodies. He then sees the doors open on the 3rd floor and reports it to Mike, who rushes there. Seconds later, Mike catches 47 at the end of the 3rd floor lobby and points a gun at him. But a maid stumbles between them, giving 47 a chance to take off and dive into the pool below. Enraged at missing their prime target once more, Mike and Jenkins return to 47's room only to see that it has been blown to bits. Mike learns from the police captain that he lost 16 men and demands to take over, to which the captain complies. Moments later, FSB officer Yuri arrives and Mike tells him that he knows the real Mikhail has been murdered and somebody's trying to cover up a greater plot. Elsewhere, 47 is able to get himself a fresh suit before arriving at a hotel where Nika is staying. Carrying a bouquet of roses, he rings her doorbell, telling her that Mikhail Belikov sent the flowers. But when she answers, he holds her at gunpoint and tells her to get a coat. The 2 exit the hotel, and he puts her in his trunk before driving away to a safe house. 47 brings her to an old building on the outskirts of town and begins to question her. Nika had never seen 47 before yesterday on the streets when she was waiting to meet her lover Mikhail. 47 also demands to know how Mikhail is still alive, but she knows nothing. 47 threateningly pulls his gun, and she explains that Mikhail might have used body doubles. Just as the assassin is about to shoot Nika, he sees her face tattoo and recalls how he got his own barcode tattoo. Thus, he decides against shooting her and asks about Mikhail's brother Udry. He learns that Udry runs a trafficking ring and gun trade. After the questioning, 47 wants Nika to come with him, but she refuses the proposition. But he manages to convince her by revealing that Mikhail wants them both dead, as he was hired to kill Nika as well. 47 then decides to complete his task of killing Mikhail and uncover the conspiracy. Meanwhile, Mike meets with the police captain, who explains that they've locked down the entire city with only trains running deeper into Russia. But Mike thinks that's exactly what 47 is planning to do. Meanwhile, 47 and Nika are at a train station when he senses danger and sends her away. Behind him sits another hitman, an older man with a shaved head and a barcode tattooed on the back of his head. A distance off are Jenkins and Mike, who are sure 47 is present at the station. Meanwhile, 47 purposely lets the other hitman see and follow him. Mike spots the older hitman too and orders Jenkins to follow him. But then he spots Yuri and his agents also searching for 47. In the meantime, 47 leads the older hitman down onto a vacant platform and suddenly jumps over a stairway, losing the man. He comes searching for 47 and pulls his gun, looking for his bald-headed rival. He comes close, but 47 ambushes and easily defeats him, mocking the man for getting old. 47 wants to know why there's a hit on him, but the agent refuses to talk. So, 47 shoots him before spotting another shadowy figure lurking nearby. 47 ends up on a vacant train and is suddenly confronted by 3 other agents like himself. There is a tense standoff, and 47 suggests that they die with dignity. So they all lower their guns and draw out dual blades. However, as the fight kicks off, it is obvious that the 3 had pre-planned on attacking 47 together. But his skills are unmatched. He easily and brutally kills 3 of the men while kicking the last one out of the train. He beats the man down before strangling him with his own belt. 47 goes back to find the old agent, who is still barely alive. He tells 47 that things are just getting started and will only get worse from now on. After killing the older hitman, 47 finds Nika hiding in a corner nearby as she had come looking for him. Just then, Jenkins enters the area with his gun drawn. But 47 manages to hold him at gunpoint as Mike also enters. In a quick burst of action, 47 shoots Mike near his last rib before knocking Jenkins out. Nika and 47 then leave the area as additional support forces begin to arrive at the site. Elsewhere, after threatening Inspector Mike to leave the country, Yuri returns to his office and makes a secure phone call to Mikhail. He orders Yuri to find and kill 47 and the girl. Unbeknownst to him, Interpol has tapped the line and Mike is listening to the conversation. However, minutes later, the FSB tracks down their car and holds them at gunpoint, saying they have orders to escort the duo to the airport. On the other hand, 47 sets up a meeting between Nika and his CIA contact, Officer Smith. While 47 sits with a sniper rifle on a nearby roof, Smith tells him through the phone that 47 did in fact kill the real Mikhail Belikov. But the Russian elites then replaced him with a body double so that they could control the nation's political future. Now 47 has been thrown to the wolves. 47 offers to take out Mikhail's brother Udry for the CIA in return for a small favor. Smith tells him that Udry has planned a meeting with a drug dealer named Price, whom he has never met before. Following this, 47 and Nika travel to Istanbul on the mission to kill Udry Belikov. He takes her shopping for a new dress, then stops by a restaurant where Price usually dines. They see he has a reservation for 8. At the restaurant, 47 secretly drugs Price's drink and returns it. Soon enough, Price struggles to breathe after gulping down the drink. His men take him to the restroom hurriedly, but do not notice 47 following them. In the bathroom, 47 quickly eliminates the guards, injects Price, and kills the remaining men. The next night, 47 poses as Price and goes to a club where Udry usually hangs out. A drunk Udry welcomes him and prepares to make a deal, but soon realizes that the man in front of him is an imposter. Yet, Udry plays it off and shows 47 his guns in order to intimidate him. Suddenly, 47 throws his briefcase, triggering a flashbang. In the ensuing chaos, he decimates everyone with a machine gun and ultimately kills Udry himself. Following this, 47 ambushes and knocks out Yuri in his office. The latter awakens tied down in a bathtub filled with water and a radio strapped to his hand. 47 warns him to order the shooting of Mikhail at 2:30 that afternoon, or a generator will kick in and electrocute him. At Udry's funeral, Mikhail's body double turns up under heavy security to pay his respects. He climbs up the stage to give a speech behind bulletproof glass. A desperate Yuri only has a minute to make his decision as the timer counts down. With no options left, he orders one of the security snipers at the funeral to shoot Mikhail instead. The sniper shoots thrice, breaking the glass, but Mikhail is rescued by his men and brought to safety. Just then, 47, disguised in soldier gear, ambushes them and kills all his men in a hail of bullets. Meanwhile, the KGB agents throw gas canisters to knock out the funeral attendees and lock down the entire church, thinking they have 47 trapped. 47 grabs Mikhail and drags him to another room, but yet another assassin attacks him with a spear. They fight, with 47 slowly beating him down before brutally killing his opponent. Outside the church, Inspector Mike arrives and learns that 47 is in the southwest tower. He figures that the assassin plans to escape through the pool near the church and orders his men to gather around it. The KGB officers overhear Mike and call in their gunships to attack the southwest tower. Inside, 47 ties the imposter to a chair and demands to know who he really is. But the man offers to help 47 by offering him a chance at a normal life. A ruthless 47 refuses and shoots him dead. Suddenly, the KGB gunship appears, ripping the entire room and Mikhail's dead body to shreds before leaving. 47 survives the onslaught and sits alone as Mike and his Interpol agents rush to the room and arrest him. They immediately put him in a jeep to transport him to the airport, but are swiftly intercepted by black cars and surrounded by CIA agents. Officer Smith steps out, telling the Interpol agents to stand down. He claims that Mike and his team are suspects in terrorist activities. A confused Mike informs him that they're simply transporting a criminal assassin for trial. But just as Mike turns back towards his jeep, he realizes that Agent 47 has managed to sneak away. A smug-looking Smith then apologizes for the mix-up before leaving with his men. A few days later, in Russia, Nika receives a deed to a great vineyard as a gift from 47. He's watching her from the top of a building with a dead assassin at his feet.